So, for the sake of everything positive in the world, I'll go over Money in the Bank. Still relevant because it's still the same week. It's been under a week since it came over, so I thought I would have my opinion all set out before the end of this week before we go to Friday Night SmackDown. How about that, kids? Okay, I know nobody responded. Many things happened. Kofi Kingston got demolished by Bobby Lashley. The women's Money in the Bank was such a flop. The biggest supposed spot with Nikki Ash doing a freaking splash over the top of the ladder, getting no supposed pop. This was the lowest reaction out of most of the card. This was a weak match. The magic crap with Alexa Bliss, the whole tug of war with, I don't know if it was Tamina and Shayna Baszler, cushioning like no semblance of reaction because the women can't essentialize a dramatic Money in the Bank if like two were set to win and none of these women were getting any build to get pushed other than the vocal minority of fans that still have any faith in the women's division sensing over a draw, because all it shows is just a bunch of mid-carders that nobody can equate to being top of the card in the future, and then it comes over with an underwhelming finish, just giving it to Nikki Ash for a supposed pop. And then the next episode of Raw, literally she just cashed in, emitting no reaction other than the bare minimum of a pop just to end the night, because they know it's their first time with a crowd for Monday Night Raw since last March. Match was garbage. Also, on kickoff, somehow this was on kickoff, yet the Viking Raiders and AJ Styles and Omos was in the middle of the card. It's just realistic placement, and plus the Usos actually have a story running towards it, so you think that they would point more attention to an actual storyline being more focused upon, other than Styles and Omos that have the bare minimum screen time on Raw. And they come over in a decent match against Mysterio, and almost like they're trying their best to equate that much of a comeback pop, like trying to equate who's the babyface and who the heel. There's a lot of hookups and in a lot of roll ups out of the Usos for some apparent reason. We understand they're equating over heel work, but it just comes out looking dragged other than looking clever. And the 1-6-1 night spot was pretty messed up. Other than that, an average little cheat off the tag team partner hook, keeping the leg on the partner so we can get the 1-2-3. Usos win the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And also, this is coming out of the fourth DUI from Jimmy Uso. So, literally the rap sheet of the Usos as long as the tag team title reigns they have in their careers. This is under contract. Most of this illegal behavior has been over under contract to the company. So it's either nepotism playing a favorite here, or we're still having, yeah, it's nepotism. We all know it's nepotism. Stop lying that you push over it's nepotism. We understand we're doing this for the story, but it's also coming over favoritism from the WWE, knowing that they don't have any quintessential draw. Because if they were higher over and disciplined on their main roster, Jimmy Uso would be suspended. They would have to push back everything later next year because they know they're forcing over The Rock to be part of this, and Cena, because Roman Reigns is the biggest thing happening for him. That's why Cena's not feuding with Lashley. He's feuding with Roman, obviously. And then, oh god, bro, we had Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. This match was the same match. The only thing is, they clean over the finish, and I know they were about to do. They were going to push over Charlotte to win because Rhea just dragged over getting a DQ finish, and we don't know who's the healer phase. And they need somebody legit to build over for SummerSlam. So obviously they're gonna have Charlotte trying to come back and feud with Nikki Ash in the future. Uh it's just so bland. So bland of a match. It was nearly any other pay-per-view Charlotte match you've seen. Selling over the leg, a moonsault, figure eight, then she does the figure eight, Then Rhea does the figure eight. This match was pretty alright. But this is nothing that really changed for me emotionally. This was a decent match. Wouldn't watch it back though. That's what I say about a lot of women's matches. They'll be good. Hell, they might even be match of the year, but they're not as memorable because all they do is focus over these NXT matches with the bare minimum of a must-see storyline to make me like invested. Why I should care about either Rhea or Charlotte. And people don't get this because every time I don't agree with their opinion that it's a great match, I'll say that it's a good match. That doesn't mean I'm gonna watch it again. And if there's no replayability in a match like that, I'm not gonna call it as good as the main event. And then we had, of course, the Viking Raiders face off against Styles and Omos. This clouded over Styles, literally helping over Omos a majority of the match, trying to do power moves, trying to maneuver with Styles, doing top rope maneuvers. Styles does his little combo. Then there was a couple 1v1s, and then Omos did the power. This isn't making Omos look more of a threat. Thinks they're not equating that much of a reaction. They're trying to drag over so much. Styles gets the victory. Omos and Styles retain. That's about it. I mean, this match wasn't bad, but again, it dragged over like 20 minutes. And they suspecting me to actually care whoever drops over the titles because we know they're gonna drag over 3 months of two tag teams that nobody's interested to watch consistently. And then we got, of course, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match that consists of Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, Ricochet, John Morrison, Matt Riddle, and Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins. Look, this is brutally honest, bro. Like, you can go over the review, and it consists that I'm negative, all because and you're not giving me the chance. Well, yeah, it's a critique. It's not a charity case, bro. It's a review. They need to put the Money in the Bank back to Mania. This is a borderline sideshow gimmick match. You can't push that over as a solid match stipulation if you're not going to equate it to the main event. If it's not going to be a major story of the show, so you're better off just having this gimmick back at Mania where people actually remember most of the spots. So this match literally had some fun spots. There was a big ending on the ladder, a big Top Gun holo. I think Ricochet must have hit a ladder. There was a powerbomb, obviously, on the ladder. It literally took 15 minutes until somebody used the ladder on the commentary table on the apron spot, and that is so overdone now. Literally, how come nobody does the moonsault with the mini ladder anymore? Even though how many mini ladder spots they do on the pay-per-view, they barely do it in the on the matches anymore. That's less dangerous than whatever bullshit hang time ladder spot you guys do nowadays, and you suspect me to believe that you can't do a moonsault with a small ladder like John Morrison did back at Mania 24. Spots over guys fighting over the ladder. Cesaro had a final blow one. Rollins, Corbin came, and giant big ending at the end with Big E picking up in a massive pop. And that was like, okay, finally the fans woke up because they got somebody that they really wanted to win Money in the Bank. And congratulations to Big E too, but he is like the bare minimum of emotionally invested. Like and that his best friend just got majorly dominated, even though Xavier Woods literally gave him a 15-minute Hell in a Cell match just like 3 weeks prior, selling that nobody ever sells match stipulations well. And I know that most of these guys that are going to be Money in the Bank are probably going to have a 15-minute match the next night on Raw because they don't sell injuries or sell big match stipulations. Like if I sell that I have a barbed wire asylum match, the next week most of these guys are either off or selling that they have a critical injury that makes sure they don't perform well for the next couple weeks or months. That's supposed to sell over a match stipulation. People did that for Money in the Bank. People did that from Elimination Chamber. Even hell, the Punjabi prison. I think Batista at least took a night off, or at least sold a rib injury or a shoulder injury or something to make sure that okay, this match was new for me. This was dangerous, and I'm just lucky I came out unscathed. But I'm still suffering the effects. Like literally, I hate that now. Like nobody sells the match stipulation. Now it's just a generic match. That I hate that. Like especially if it has like prestige and is shown to be literally with the most dangerous spots in the show. Why not sell it like nobody except top of the line guys can take it? That's why the point of selling an injury for match stipulation is important, and nobody does it. I'm shocked nobody takes this. Literally selling something as basic as that seriously. It gets me a bit agitated. And this is not. I'm not even going to be comparing it to Attitude Era because that's overplayed. But we had our main event. It was Roman Reigns versus Edge for the Universal Championship, and I have to say, match was good. I thought it was a bit overbooked. Like they're trying to push over. Like I even had a question. I was talking to uh a friend's my friend's family friend, and literally whenever he is also an interest in wrestling. He's a bit younger than me, so whenever it comes to speaking to the targeted demographic of WWE, literally the targeted demographic, because it's obviously that they're hitting over to children and young and below young adults. So whenever it comes to targeting the demographic that's going to be younger, they're going to be more impressed when you see a supposed dominant figure. And I understand that he's beating a guy like Edge, but he also needed the Usos when he faced Cesaro, like he literally explained, like, okay, how can you look dominant when you say you're dominant and you're still coming out with your cousins all the time? It doesn't make it look like a bad. Kids want to see a big bad heel dominate. You're hearing that from young children. Sure, whenever like Shredder needed to beat the Ninja Turtles, he would get the Foot Clan to release his daughter or Bebop and Rocksteady helping him. But at least he knows that's a group game. If he knows one on one, he could fuck up any of the turtles if necessary because he can kill them because they're not that experienced, and he's shown to be a badass. Who doesn't want to see an arm suited, sharp, dual wielding gauntlet badass with a scar killing these green freaks? That shows that he's a dominant, bad adversary that you can't deal with without any strategizing. And if you're not that experienced, you're not going to have a shot. Literally, that's the basis of the the young demographic. And if Ninja Turtles can grasp that with the Shredder, I'm shocked they can't do that with Roman Reigns. Superman punch counter into a heel, counter into a spear, many into the execution. I thought that was it. Really fun back and forth, but the Usos came over, hit with a chair shot, super kicked. Seth Rollins came and curb stomped, super kicked Edge. Roman with a spear picks up the win in like a 25-minute. Like, bro, they try to make this. Whenever you see these matches now, like, I don't mind a 20-minute main event. Don't make it near 30 minutes if it doesn't have the right build up in the entire match. Because it comes over in the 20-minute mark, and they're still near falling over finishes, even though you know what's gonna happen. It comes out looking dragged. It's like they don't have the perfect pacing out, and it comes in looking a bit predictable. Like you know Roman's gonna win anyway if we're gonna make it that false finishy, and knowing that Roman Reigns retains. That's underwhelming, even though I would like a one-off reign with the Universal title. But knowing I know Edge probably wants to just push over Roman, they could have just had this at Mania. Cena came out at the end, did his little "you can't see me," of course posing over to the crowd. Obviously, we're gonna have a promo being like, "You didn't acknowledge Tribal Chief shit," and we fade to black. That's Money in the Bank. One of the better pay-per-views of the year. I would say it's probably, yeah, it's better than the Rumble, and it's better than Elimination Chamber. People are not gonna say it's better than Mania because you saw that Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. People walked out of that match, bro. And just knowing that it just took an extent of just the bare minimum of build for a majority of the match. At least there was some semblance of Money in the Bank wasn't rushed, but the build was repetitive. But alright, pay-per-view. Especially kudos to the fans being back. I'm gonna give it like a 5 or 6 out of 10. This was an average show. Pretty average show, but it was great to see fans back. Give that raw, authentic feeling. Because sometimes you really need that real show of who's getting over or not, and who's going to be preceding that much of interest for the product if the crowd isn't there to react, and that does play a huge factor in pro wrestling. So, yeah, thanks for watching. That's it for me.